Are you ready?
Starting now?
Well, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And you know what? I feel it tonight, man. This is going to be a fucking awesome episode. I just know. Why is that so funny?
Whatever, man.
I know. You know, they kind of prompted it. I've been looking at it again, summertime, all those sort of things, and man, the number of plays. I mean, these last couple episodes, it's almost okay. So now I'm going to try to make people feel bad. It's fucking depressing, man. You know, watching these things. What it's not really, but right. I was going to try to make people feel bad. We've got to have people who listen that are like people pleasers and that sort of thing. Maybe we could just tell people we're really disappointed in them for not passing this along.
All right. Yeah, sure.
yeah, sure. Whatever. Like anyone cares about what we think or feel, right?
Exactly. Including us.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, it is what it is. But no, it doesn't bother me. I'm not certainly if something like that depresses me, then I got bigger problems than podcast plays. That's for goddamn sure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So
I mean, we've talked about it a million times, man. We fucking do this thing, you know. If you people listen, great. We hope you do. We think we do something all right here, but you know, fuck it, we're doing it anyway.
Right. Yeah, and we've got this will be the obviously this week is a solo episode. Well, Mike and I, us as a solo. Is that a solo episode? It's a duo. It's a duo episode.
There's three of you. How can you be the Lone Rangers?
Okay, so let me step back. Maybe I won't edit that. It'll just sound like I fucked up. So because I did. So anyhow, so it's just Mike and I this week. But next week we have have a guest. His name is John M. Sober and an author. So we've got him next week. The week after that, just us. We're recording on a Thursday, but we're pre-recording that other episode for our September 1st one. Yeah, we got 2 recordings next week.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
no. I'm sorry. Week after that. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
All right. Fine.
Yeah, I know. We got to fucking work for that one. But and then 23rd is Dr. Sarah. So she's coming back. That'll be a lot of fucking fun. Yep. And then yeah, September 1st, which is a Sunday, is going to be the release for William Moyers, and we know that one's going to be a good one. So
that is. Yep.
I don't know. It's mixing it up a little bit, and yeah, if anyone else thinks they're worthy of this,
right?
I don't know.
Shoot us a line, right at SoberNotMature.com.
Right? Yeah, shoot us a line, and we'll look at it and be like, maybe not, but who knows? Now we're always willing to have people on it. Just that I think we made it pretty goddamn clear before, with the exception of our friends. I mean, we're not. I don't know, just like anything else, man. We're not fucking chasing people anymore. It's like, you know, like we sponsor people, like we do our program. It's what is it again? It's attraction, not promotion. Isn't that
exactly right?
Yeah. So we are recording on a Thursday again, which there's a point. We'll get to that. It's a thing that actually Mike's got something going on this weekend.
Ooh,
but
Mike's got something going on.
Right. Well, it is kind of, I don't want to say out of the ordinary, but I don't know. I mean, you have your life set pretty much. I'm usually the one more
I
running
do.
around these days, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we'll talk about it. It's a big deal, I think, and for obviously you and that Chris person over there. So I think it'll be fun to talk about. So,
All right.
but to begin with, what the fuck? What are we doing? Like reading? Reading? You ready?
Yeah, sure.
Do one of those goddamn things again, right?
Let's do one of those goddamn things. Yeah, so this one's going to be from Keep It Simple. I had actually dog-eared one from earlier in the week, and I read it again tonight. I read it in the morning a few days ago and thought it was better than it was. I was like, I mean, it's all right, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was. So, yeah, so I, for some damn reason, I flipped open to January 3rd in Keep It Simple, and I liked it. So here we go. January 3rd from Keep It Simple. Never play leapfrog with a unicorn. Unknown. All right. As we work step 1, we accept that alcohol and other drugs are poison to us. We accept our limits. This means we know that hanging around our drinking or using quote unquote buddies can remind us of quote unquote the good old days. Hanging around quote unquote slippery places means we could quote unquote slip back into our old ways. This isn't testing our sobriety, it's being reckless with it. So let's accept our limits. Everybody has limits. When we know our limits, we protect our recovery against the people and places that pull us from our spiritual center. This is what true acceptance means. Prayer for the day. I pray for true acceptance, higher power. Help me to stay away from slippery places. I will protect the gift you have given me. Action for the day. This one's got those pesky actions too. Today, I'll list the people and places that are risky for me to be around. I will share this list with my sponsor, my group, and my sober friends.
Share it with your sober friends. You know what? We may
Hey,
actually do that tonight, right? Share something with our sober friends. Hi,
right.
friends.
Hi, friends.
But so yeah, that last one. So list of what was it? People and places that are slippery
Yeah, that are risky for
or
me to be
risky.
around. Right.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's start there. So risky places and people. So
Mm-hmm.
and there's I wrote a few other things down that kind of go
Right.
along the same lines, but right off the top of your head, like right now, today, at 14 years and a few months into this thing,
Mm-hmm.
is there any? And I'm not asking you to call out people. I mean, I
Right.
maybe even the types of people, number one, but also, are there any particular places that you would not go to under any circumstance that you think are risky or just you don't need to be there?
Right. Right. Well, a trap house.
Oh, okay, Mister. I'm going to write this down next to Mister Obvious.
Right. Shooting gallery. Right. Um, right. Yeah, those are clearly I'm not going to those places. Just because I don't want to be there. They're fucking
Right,
depressing.
right,
Um but no, I mean I kind of chose the reading because of the other stuff, but no, honestly, there aren't any places that other than again those obvious ones that I don't want to go there. So there's no, it's yeah, not really an issue. But other than that, I mean, shit, I go to bars occasionally. I'll
right.
probably go to one this weekend. I'll probably go to a couple different ones this weekend for food. But yeah, I mean, no, there's really nowhere that I can't go. Hell, the big book tells us we can go anywhere as long as we have a reason to be there.
Right.
I don't have a reason to be in a crack house. Um, so I won't go there today.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's nowhere, going to concerts, going to festivals, going to, places where there's drugs and alcohol. I, doesn't bother me a goddamn bit anymore. I mean, I go to family functions. Hell, when we went down to Myrtle Beach, I mean, the kids were drinking. A couple of them were smoking a little vapey stuff that had some vapey stuff in it. Whatever, man. It's fuck does not bother me. It truly doesn't anymore. Yeah, so the answer, the very long answer to that question is no. There isn't anywhere that I don't go. There are people I don't want to be around, but it's kind of the same thing as going into a drug house. It's like I don't want to be around those people. It's not that my sobriety is at risk. It's just I fucking don't want to be around those people.
Right.
Whether it's people using and drinking, again, like I said, I'm around people that use and drink. It's fine. Normal people that can do that sort of thing. I don't want to be around an active alcoholic. I don't want to be around an active drug addict just because fuck, I don't want to be around it. Not that I'm going to join in. It's just, it's awful to be
Right.
around that kind of thing. So I don't want to. I certainly could. And if someone was active but was asking for help, I could certainly be around that. It wouldn't be
Right.
like, fuck, you're whatever. You're sitting there with a drink in your hand. I mean, Bill W talked about being around people that were drinking when he was trying to help them. Dr. Bob fucking when guys were DTing and stuff, they give them booze,
Right.
yeah. So, I mean, that's again, examples of I can be around those people if I have a reason to be. So no, the long answer, short answer is no, there's nowhere that I can't go that I don't want to go. And there are no people that I can't be around that I want to be around.
And you know what? And same thing on there. I mean, clearly, I didn't know what the reading was going to be, but I mean, I never know where your answer is going to go on that. I thought, I knew the basics of it, the fact that because I was kind of thinking of myself right off the top of my head. I'd been very honest about it. Even 5 years ago, certainly 10 years ago, I didn't go to a bar. I didn't want to go to a concert. Didn't want to be around those areas. And the thing of it is, to use the word that we don't like, and it didn't trigger me. It
Hmm.
made me feel uncomfortable,
Sure.
and I didn't feel like I belonged. I still don't necessarily feel so. Given as an example, like you go to bars. You and I went to a bar when we were down. We went with Chris and Amber and Lydia and all the stuff. We
Mm-hmm.
had dinner there or
Right.
lunch there.
Right.
My kids and I went up with Derek and Katie the one night. Then I went with
Mm-hmm.
Kimmy and Ollie the next night. It's this little restaurant, but I mean, it's an whole open thing. I mean, it wasn't like raging in the bar, but it's a bar
Sure.
restaurant. You and I went to see, concerts and those sort of
Mm-hmm.
things. I don't have a problem with that anymore, but the same deal, and you hit that right on the head when, the big book talks about it. Spiritually fits one thing, but being there and having a purpose. Why am I there?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I wouldn't just be, rolling down the road. Let's say all the travels that I'm doing, just roll into a
Mm-hmm.
town and be like, I think I'm just going to go into a bar.
Right. Yeah.
You
Sit
know,
at the bar and drink a Coke.
right. You know what? Or even, I don't know. Actually, I know for a fact I wouldn't walk into a bar just to grab food,
Mm-hmm.
by myself. If it
Mm-hmm.
was different story, if it was a restaurant, and I heard that, hey, there's awesome, food in here and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's full of people just having lunch. Different
Right.
story,
Right.
But I wouldn't walk into a bar at, 9 o'clock at night and be like, I got nothing better to do. I think I'm going to go hang out in a fucking bar.
Right. Watch a game and drink a Coca-Cola. Right.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's just that, but that's the thing that I know I don't have again, back to your point, I don't have a reason to be there,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in this for me, if anyone out there is, and I won't even say new-ish, because like I just said, even 5 years ago, so at 9 years sober, certainly 10 years ago, at 4 years or 5 years sober,
Right.
I was had a completely different mindset than I have
Mm-hmm.
now, and
Right.
I'm not reckless with it. I've gotten to the point where I've done it and I know if I'm there for the purpose, a purpose and not
Mm-hmm.
go for the event, not the party is the way I've
Right.
always, thought
Yeah.
about it. And I think we were told. And the only other thing, and I guess well that's the whole point in that, but when it comes to the people, and I don't have any particular people that I don't want to be around, or if I did, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't name them on here.
Right.
But what I don't want to be around, I don't want to be around people that suck the life out of me,
Absolutely.
or try to do that,
Mm-hmm.
or people that are I've been with people since, when I was sober and when I was not sober, that basically you always have to bring them up. Kind of how I started, where I'm like, oh, this is bumming me out, whatever. It
Mm-hmm.
was a fucking joke. I'm not that guy.
Right.
I like validation in certain times. I don't need it to live. I'm not going to sit
Mm-hmm.
there and, walk around in a fucking rut because somebody doesn't give me a pat on the back. Um, it's it's tiring to have to bring people up and build people up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really tiring being around really fucking negative people, you
Yep.
know? And if there's people like that I just don't want to be around that because
Right.
it doesn't make me negative. It bothers the shit out of me, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, exactly. I believe we have a T-shirt that says "I'm too sober for this shit." And
Right.
it's absolutely true. Right. I am too sober. I am too awake. I am too fucking, I don't have time to waste. Again, said it a million times on here. I wasted fucking decades of my life being fucked up and being a fucked up person. And I don't have that much time left. I'm not going to waste it on fucking that kind of bullshit anymore. I'm just not. I
Right.
don't have time for it. I'd rather sit in my house and watch a goddamn baseball game with nobody around me. I'm happier that way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Then go out and be with people that are a goddamn drag. I'll be by myself. Thank you very much. I'm comfortable in my own skin today. Go fuck off.
Yeah, go fuck you and go fuck yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah, but no, I agree. But yeah, it was just interesting when that line came up. I was just kind of curious, and I didn't necessarily think that you had any specific places, like you say, a fucking
Right.
crack house. Okay, I get it. But the same thing, if I was invited to a party that I knew, just it was a bunch of people. Give you an example. Let's say um, high school reunion.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't gone to any of them
No.
because I know how my class is. I know what happens
Right.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one that I even recall, Kimmy's mom Pam she had called me. And she's like, "Are you going to the reunion?" I'm like, "Fuck no." I said two things. I don't want to, but
Right.
I said, second of all, and this was I know it was in 2000, would have been 2016 ish, I think, because it was right after I did like that first collection book because one of the people from high school bought it. She took it to the reunion for some fucking reason. I'm like, oh, Jesus, but Pam's like, oh, I'm gonna go with. She went with a friend of hers, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with you if you want. I'm like, no, because I was actually going to. We were all getting together. Kimmy's work had an outing at the Timber Rattlers game, the minor baseball
Yeah, yeah,
team
yeah.
or minor league baseball team. So
Right.
we were there that same night,
Right.
and it was funny after the fact. I think actually Pam called me on the way home from that, and I was on my way back from Appleton. I pick up the phone, I'm like, "Hello," and she's like, "Yeah, you would have hated it." And I said, really? I said it was as fucked up as I thought it would be. She's like, yeah. She goes, I wasn't even there. She goes, by the time I got there, people were fucked up. And she said
Mm-hmm.
people just continue to drink. It was at a fucking bar,
Right. Right.
like things like that. I would have nothing in common with those people. I would have
Right.
no issues like thinking I'm going to drink, but I don't want to be around that shit,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just not a fucking good time. And, I'm still looking for a goddamn good time, just differently
Right.
today.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Exactly. All right, so the rest of it, I mean, and I wrote down, leapfrog with a unicorn. We'll leave that one for last, maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
accept our limits, hanging out with the wrong
Right.
people, places. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Protecting our recovery. I put true acceptance. So
Mm-hmm.
which piece of that? Because you said, kind of for the rest of the reading, was there
Yeah.
another
Well,
piece
I
that kind
mean,
of?
again, knowing our limits, I think was, accepting our limits was really the main part of this reading that I liked. Yes, knowing my limits, yes, there are things I can't do. There are things I don't want to do, but there are things I can't do. I don't know exactly what they are. I don't fucking dwell on them. I mean, right. Um, which I think, a lot of times in early recovery, you sit there and dwell on those things that you can't do anymore.
Right.
Because you miss them, you're mourning them, which is normal and fine, and that's what you're supposed to do. But yeah, I mean, seriously, I mean, I know my limits. I know, yeah, again, the places that they're, I don't know. Um, Knowing my limits, kind of, well, we talked a bit in our pre-show. Ooh, we had a pre-show this time. knowing our limits, and part of that is knowing that there are things that I have to do. That's part of my limitations too, things that I can't miss in my life. My readings in the morning, my meditations, my doing my 10 step at night. Those are limitations. I can't just go to bed. I can't just jump out of bed in the morning and go and start my day. There are things that I have to do before I do other things. And those are limitations. They are. I can't just jump out of bed and grab my clothes and run out the door in the morning. I've got to make sure I've got time to do what I have to do. Sometimes it would be nice to just be a normal person and the alarm goes off and fly out of bed, go brush your teeth, go throw your clothes on and run out the door and get the shit over with. But I have limitations. I can't do that. I have to stop and I have to think about things and remind myself of what I truly am every goddamn day.
Right. Right. I still think that's just like we talked about that so many times. I think that's fucking hilarious. It's just when you think about it, it's like, really, we have to tell ourselves, pardon me, sir, you're an alcoholic.
That's right.
Excuse me, friend. You got to read all this shit, or you're going to be a fucking mess today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You're done with your goddamn plate after you had dinner. You got to go fucking wash it. You can't just throw it in the sink and walk away. That's a limitation. It is, but no, I have to stand there and wash that dish and put it in the rack, and then I can move on.
Yeah. Oh, you would hate my sink right now. I got because I've got a dishwasher, so everything was in the dishwasher, and again, these nights that we record on a Thursday, it's a quick hour, is really what it is, and just it doesn't take me long. A couple of things I would just want to say real quick. We haven't mentioned Zencaster in a little while. That's again the recording software we use. On a serious note, this has been 2 months, 3 months, whatever, at least
Yeah,
two that
at
we've
least
been
two.
using it. The only issue we had is when my fucking internet went out. That had nothing to do with the software. So
Nope.
it's been flawless, and the time it takes me to put the studio up, it's 5 minutes. With
Right.
Riverside, not that it took longer, but it seemed it's like click this that. It was more a few more steps.
Right.
It's so fucking simple, but that's what we are, and that's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
But still. So, I took the stuff out, warmed up my dinner, getting everything set. And I mean, I'll empty the dishwasher and I'll put my dishes in there when I'm done. But I got a
Right.
sink full of dishes right now. But the only reason is because, there's another sober thing that I'm doing that
Right.
can fucking wait. Because I've got somebody else, you, and
Mm-hmm.
all you lovely people out there that
That's
relied on
right.
me to be someplace. But I never leave dishes when I'm done, whether dishwasher or not. They get washed or put away or whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
Every night, I never leave
Yeah.
dishes in the sink. This is
No.
out of the ordinary only because of this. But yeah, I mean the funny thing is I never thought about what we do at night or in the morning as a limitation, as far as a positive limitation.
Right. Yeah.
That's a cool way to look at it, because if anyone ever says to anyone, I've got limitations, or you got limitations, it's
Mm-hmm.
always in a negative way. That's
Right.
kind of it's a fun way to look at it, though. So I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, thank you. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good. I'm done.
A literal mic drop, right? No, it's the simplest things like that sometimes that just kind of makes sense to me, because words like that, when somebody says unfortunately, it's never a good thing. When somebody says
Right.
limitations, if somebody says attitude, unless they say it's a good attitude, there's
Uh-huh.
just certain words that mean certain things. So I like that. But
Yeah.
like this past weekend, Derek and my son and his girlfriend, Derek and Katie, came up on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We went up and we had dinner, and we came back and we hung out. And I got up fucking ungodly early. I left here 6:15 in the morning to
Mm.
drive down to Appleton
Right.
because I wanted to see my grandson. Obviously do his little soccer thing.
Uh-huh.
So then I came back and, we hung out. Kimmy came back after that, hung out for a little bit, and then she stayed overnight with Ali. In Saturday morning was no big deal. I get up before everyone anyhow. So I sat out
Right.
here where I am and did my shit. But on Saturday or on Sunday, I mean, I set my alarm, but I figured that, Ali would be up and whatever. So they get up, I come
Mm-hmm.
out, made my coffee. And then I just told Kimmy, I said, I'm going to go back in the bedroom and do my reading. She's like, okay. Because I mean, everyone knows, but I
Right.
did. I walked back into the bedroom, did my reading. Then I came out here because I usually get on Facebook and pop on Instagram for a minute, do those things,
Hmm.
but the readings, that's my time. I went back in the bedroom and I did it. But
Right.
I don't know. I mean, we've done this. We've been around people before. We've taken
Hmm.
trips. We've done all these different things.
Right.
You take your physical books with you. I have everything on my phone.
Right.
Whatever it is, we take all this shit with us, and that's the fucking point.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And it allows us a lot of freedoms, but yes, it's with those freedoms comes responsibilities, and those are responsibilities, and yes, they are limitations. I can't be a raging asshole anymore. Sometimes I'd like to be, but I can't be. So
Right.
that is a limitation, but it's a good limitation.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, I do. I like that because I literally, and well, hopefully I won't forget that, and I'll never look at look at or hear or whatever that word the same way. But
Mm-hmm.
I seriously, I mean, it's such a simple thing, but that's really cool to me. Looking at a positive limitation, I like that because I've got.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've said it to a lot of different people. I know my limitations now, even with all the shit I'm doing, and walking around in fucking woods and hanging on not hanging on cliffs, but I'm in some areas where I'm not careful. I'm going to die,
Right. Yeah,
but
me too. It's called Cleveland.
yeah, it's, touche. But no, I mean, I always say it that way. I know my physical limitations, but,
Mm-hmm.
no, I mean, it's great. I like that. But just that reading in general and, accepting our limitations. But the other thing too that I wrote down was, protecting our recovery, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of goes along with everything that we've been talking about. But
Mm-hmm.
anything more than that? I mean, that you think about when you think if somebody said, "How do you protect your recovery?" How would you answer that?
I do what I'm told to do to protect my recovery. Right. Exactly. The limitations, these things, it's first step shit. And this reading started with first step. I mean, right. My life is unmanageable. I say it every time I lead, my life is still unmanageable. I do not manage my life. The principles and the steps and all this stuff, that's what manages my life today. And yes, it's limiting to this liar, cheat, and thief. It is. And that's good, though. It is. Again, back to good limitations, because my life is fucking unmanageable. I do not manage it.
Right. Yeah, and I don't remember the first time I ever heard you say that, but and I do this. I mean my prayers are the same way. It's basically I say, with this little thing, and then like without you meeting my higher power, my life is unmanageable. And that's
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying the same thing, and we talked about that before, but
Right.
different words, but it is the same thing. That yeah, neither one of us are just out there, running around all willy fucking nilly.
Right. Self will.
Yeah. Our
Run
self
fucking riot.
our self will is not running riot or fucking riot or whatever, and it's not.
Nope. No, it's not. And
Yeah,
and because it's not, then we have all this freedom. We have all these choices. We have this wonderful life that's been given to us by limiting ourselves.
right, right. Yeah, and it's cool because you
Sounds
hear
like that
people.
AA math shit again.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, you just keep give it away to keep it. Then all this other
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. The more you do, the
Mm-hmm.
more you get. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But yeah, I mean, we talked about it. I know people say it all the time. That it just this thing. That this disease, this horrible thing that that we have, or the life horrible things that we've done and been through.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that and you've said it. It has worth.
Yep.
And getting to the point right now when once again, I mean, I'm not glad that I suppose given the choice, whatever normal is, maybe I would have wanted to live a normal life. But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what is that the coolest part that we figured out, and because I know it because we talked about it, is that
Mm-hmm.
there's certain ways that we act and react and live our life now based on these 12 steps, this
Mm-hmm.
program, and the things that we've been taught, that just in general take away the fact that we're doing it to stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
It does help us live a better life, be better human beings, and in
Right.
turn, I mean, we said it before, probably everyone could benefit from the basic principles.
Mm-hmm.
So if I maybe I wouldn't have become an alcoholic. Maybe I wouldn't become, problematic with alcohol. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that with my mentality, if everything else in me was the same,
Mm-hmm.
I never would have tried. I can say I'm not an always or never guy, but I think I can honestly say that I wouldn't have willingly tried to fix whatever this thing is called
Mm-hmm.
me. I just
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have. I don't know.
No.
I don't know why I would have,
Right. Yeah. Right. There would be no reason because we're fucking wonderful, goddamn perfect human beings. Don't you know that?
Yeah, I mean, I still would have been a quote unquote, air quote, alcoholic. I just
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have been called that. I would have been something else. I would have had
Right.
the same makeup and I would have acted the same way. I wouldn't have been a fucking booze hound. That's all,
Right.
so I don't know. I mean, it's a tough one. I don't have regrets about everything that I went through. I had to, for whatever fucking
Mm-hmm.
reason. And I think I know, because I see the life I have now and in the people in my life and, how my life was prior to this and how it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I'm not complaining, I guess
Nope.
is the easiest fucking way to put it, right?
Absolutely.
And as they say, nobody listens anyhow.
Right.
But so what else? Anything else with the reading? It was a good one though. I liked
Yeah.
it.
I think we've covered it.
Okay, I'll leave the leapfrog with the unicorn. I think we all get the reference.
Right. Get a
Yeah,
horn up your ass.
yeah, up here. Yeah, if I only got it up my ass, right, I might rip off something else too. One way or
Mm.
the other. Everyone else out there, if you get nothing else from this episode, do not play leapfrog with the unicorn. There you go.
Right. Right.
All right, so you have something going on this weekend. So we had teased it a little bit last week. So that you had a anniversary on when you guys met. Then now it's your real anniversary. So
Mm-hmm.
personally, I would love to hear the Tinder story again. But I don't know what you guys are doing this weekend. You do it every year, so I don't know. It's a nice thing. It's a nice example of what we get to do sober, kind of to wrap all that shit up.
Right. Yeah. Well, there was a lot of shit in there. Yes. Well, we go to Port Clinton, Ohio, which is clearly right on the lake. It's actually where the ferries leave out to go to the islands. It's a quaint little old town, and I do mean old. There's a hotel there called the Island House. It's been there a very long time, over 100 years. And let's see, Humphrey Bogart took Lauren Bacall there. Joe DiMaggio took Marilyn Monroe there. A lot of famous people have stayed there. It was kind of a halfway point between Detroit and Chicago, or Detroit and Cleveland. And so a lot of the baseball teams back in the early days would stop there. Al Capone spent a little time there when prohibition was a thing, when alcohol was illegal. And again, the port, so they were bringing booze over from Canada, and the Island House was the tallest building around. So he had a room right up front so he could watch shit. Anyway, so yeah, it's a very cool place, and this will be our 4th time going there for our anniversary. This is our 8th anniversary.
Nice.
On the 6th will be actually the anniversary of our first date. Yes, swipe day was a week or so ago. Yes, Chris and I met on Tinder. Yes, we swiped right. Both of us did. I love her quote. She says she looked at my picture and went, "Oh, he looks so bad for me," and swiped right. Little did she know.
Right.
Right. And, I saw her and she's into horror movies and art and cool stuff. And she's really cute. And I went, oh, right on. And so I swiped right. And, yeah, and it was a slow process. I've said it before. I'm not her first drunk, but I am her first sober drunk. So she was a little gun shy, but she was very happy to find out that I was sober. But she was still gun shy. It took her a while to come around and figure out I actually was a decent person. Again, thanks to this program, because because I didn't used to be. And yeah, I don't know. Shit. So yes, we're going away for the weekend to this very romantic spot.
Yeah, which I just think it's nice, and the Tinder story itself just, I mean, you know me, I mean, I mess around with dating apps all the time. Did I
Mm-hmm.
mention I'm dating again? Because I don't. Did I mention that I wasn't?
um, no to
Yeah.
both.
If anyone's listened to these episodes over the last, I don't know, handful of months, we were kind of poo pooing on people about saying that, okay, I'm done dating for now, or I'm back in the dating pool. I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand it. I'm just like, why wouldn't I always want to be open
Sure.
to dating? So
Right.
yeah, I've never not been dating unless I'm hanging out with somebody specifically, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a fucking pig that way. But
Right.
um but I mean, I've spent plenty of time on dating apps for a number of years.
Uh-huh.
Probably back easily to the time that you guys met, even a little bit. I don't remember. I don't even remember when I got on dating apps. But anyhow, um, I have met some the people that I dated. Over the last, I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't met anyone any other way.
Right.
So it has been through dating apps. As far as like a true dating thing, I've met people on Instagram that I become friends with and that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing. But I mean, dating apps, yeah, just these days. I mean, we're like we just said, we don't hang out in fucking bars and stuff. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know where the fuck to meet people anymore. I can go to an
Yeah.
AA meeting,
Exactly.
but that's
Right.
frowned upon.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose now that the person's got a little bit of sobriety or something like that, you
Right.
could, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
Right.
Just I don't know. I just it would never seem right walking into an AA meeting. Not that I haven't like looked at somebody like, God
Oh, sure.
damn,
Right.
but you just don't
Yeah.
walk up to
That's
somebody after the Lord's Prayer and like, hey baby, how you
right.
doing?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, the rooms are there for a reason, and that's not it.
Right, right. But it's nice to see somebody, especially out of all of them. Although Tinder has evolved and it's not that the hookup app anymore
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, But I don't know if they have a positive story out of it, and then the fact that you guys end up like your Christmas thing in Mexico and this thing.
Right.
Again, it's a routine, it's this habit thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's really nice habits that you guys both get to benefit from,
Right.
and it's wonderful. I think it's nice.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I mean, and she loves it over there because I mean, her grandparents had a place not far from there, so she goes spend summers there when she was younger and stuff. So she's, she likes it there, and it's fine. Little beach town, on
right.
on the shores of Lake Erie.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think so Kelly's Island, how far is that where the ferry goes off to Kelly's
Yeah,
Island from Port Clinton?
yeah,
It is.
yeah.
Okay.
Put Bay and Kelly's Island and Bass Island, right? The islands. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, because I was just gonna say that I don't think I've ever been to Port Clinton, but I would have been because I've been out on Kelly's Island a couple of times. Which,
Yep.
yeah, if nobody is, if you've never been around that area, again, the Port Clinton, Sandusky, all those sort of things. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful, and to
Yeah.
go out, and I haven't been out to one of those islands, and shit, I don't think I've been out there since I've been sober, and probably quite a few years
Right. Well, I
prior to
mean,
that.
yeah,
But
I mean, well, what Put in Bay or whatever, that one is, party time.
right.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. A couple of the other islands are a little slower and mellower and whatever, but yeah, I've never been.
Oh,
And
really? Okay.
yeah, but I mean, you can see the Perry Monument from the shore at Port Clinton, so it's good enough
Right.
for me. There it is. Okay.
Well, there was, and I don't know how old we were, but we had to have been living in Cleveland at the time. So I think, or unless we came back from Pittsburgh to go, I don't remember. But it was a lady that mom worked for, and we knew their family, and they had a couple of
Hmm.
kids. They had a son my age, a daughter a couple years younger, and then an older son. I forget, maybe an
Uh
older
huh.
daughter. I forget. But anyhow, we used to hang out with them every once in a while, and we actually our parents rented the families rented this house over on
Hmm.
Kelly's Island,
Right.
and so we were out there for whatever a week, and you can walk along, and there's the whole where the glaciers and shit came through, and
Hmm.
thinking back, it's pretty cool, and
Yeah.
it was Kelly's Island is I think probably more of and at least it was at that time, kind of the like you said, kind of the slower type of thing.
Sure.
And then, so that was years ago. I mean, I might have been somewhere between 8 and 10 years old, somewhere in that
Cool.
area. But then, when I was working for my dad, this was in the time frame when he was looking to buy different businesses and whatever. He almost bought a marina on Kelly's Island.
Wow.
And that might be the last time I was there, and I would have been probably 18 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a few years ago.
Yeah, right.
But so the thing of it is, and the way he used to do things, and I never heard about, stuff. He would buy things, property and businesses and things like that, basically on kind of like a land contract, almost like a lease to buy type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't necessarily, if a place was $100,000, he might have to put down 10 grand, and then he's
Right.
paying it off along the way. So that's what he was looking at, and it would have been kind of cool. It was neat, But
Yeah.
I don't know, for whatever reason it didn't work out. But yeah, he and I went over there and kind of scoped it out. And that seriously, that might have been the last time I was there, which is, again, doing the math, 18 and I'm 55. It's been a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful though. I mean, that whole area
Yeah.
is just wonderful. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, the history on it too, I mean, shit, Al Capone and all the other people that were there.
Right.
Al
Yeah. War of 1812. I mean, they fought a battle there. Right.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, just cool stuff. So, but yeah, that's one of the reasons that we're recording tonight. And I was thinking about it too. I mean, as far as recently, we both had some things going on here and there, but
Right.
I mean, this is going to be the first Friday, and I don't remember how long that I have nothing to do. I'll put this together. This will take me an
Right.
hour to put together, but I'll be able to grab pizza and just fucking sit here and do nothing, which is weird.
Right.
Oh, that I'll talk about it in a minute. I think we're it's probably getting pretty close. We could take a break. I had a squirrel moment, but I can talk
Okay.
about it later.
All right. Well, all right, Mr. Squirrel, hold your nuts, and we'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
And yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have two websites now. So two websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
Ah.
But from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And once again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right, everyone. Welcome back. I've been holding my laughter, not necessarily my nuts, but yeah, you almost got me again. Everyone, hold your nuts. I like it. I like that. So, but yeah, what I was going to say is that based on your suggestion when we were talking last week about the Michigan stuff, I started taking a look around, and like a couple of places you were talking about, they're like, what is that? The Hiawatha National Forest. That's like, 3 hours, I mean, close to
Okay.
3:15, 3.5 away. But
Yeah, it's on the other
um,
side, right, of the
yeah, so you up and
peninsula.
yeah, obviously up and to the right. But where I'm planning on going, because I kind of scoped a couple of things out, I'm going to go to Marquette, Michigan. Okay,
Okay.
which is like an hour. It's Google Maps says an hour 45, which means it's an hour and a half for me.
Right.
um, but I'm looking and there's like this it's attached, but they call it whatever this. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's like a peninsula, but an island type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like this one main trail and it goes obviously right out into Lake Superior. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a trail that goes and it's only like a mile trail, I think, but it goes around the island. I'm looking, bluffs and shit like that, it looks like, and be able
Right.
to look out there.
Oh yeah.
And then, some other trails that are around in that area. So I'm like, well, what the fuck, it's it'll be 3 hours of driving back and forth. But I'm like, to your point, you're like, you're up there and whatever. I had not
Yeah.
thought about there's other places that I could hit somewhere around in this area. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
shit, like I started thinking about it literally after we were done recording last week. And last weekend, I was kind of checking it out. I'm like, why the fuck not? Right.
Right.
So, and Sunday, I'm heading down to Appleton early. Again,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be down to Appleton by 8, and it's a 2-hour drive. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but Kimmy and Brian are going down to Chicago for Lollapalooza. So
Ah.
get to hang with my grandson again. And yeah, last weekend was cool. I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so I'm gonna head up to Marquette, Michigan. I've never been up there.
Cool.
So yeah,
Nice.
figure what the fuck. And I'm looking. It's kind of keep an eye on the weather, but it's gonna be like in the low to mid 80s and
Mm-hmm.
sunny. So I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking perfect.
Absolutely.
But
Cool.
yeah, so I'm again. I mean, it's just like you said, it's beautiful up there, and I might as well. So thank you again for your suggestion. You got me thinking, and a little bit of driving. What the fuck do I care? That's all I do anymore.
Right.
I drive, and I go look at stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good.
And it makes me happy, so that's all that matters. But
It is.
yeah, it was funny. So when obviously Kimmy and I were hanging around on Sunday or no Saturday afternoon after Derek and Katie left, and she's like, I'd really like. She goes, you want to go to a trail or something like that? I'm like, I don't know if we'll have time to go. She's like, I saw a couple things, whatever. Are there any that are more kid friendly or things to take the stroll? I'm like, fuck, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Mm.
So we started looking around, and then she's like, well, what about the place that you went, last weekend? I'm like, I said, I don't know. I said, usually gets really busy, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's figure it out. And I'm like, ooh, I said, it's $11 to park. I'm like, do you have any cash? I thought I had no cash. She had $9 and it's 11 to
Ah.
park. And I
Uh-huh.
looked and I'm like, fucking A, I got $2. So, yeah, we went up there and it was an area where, cause I told her, I'm like, so here's the deal. I said, it's like 2.5 mile trail back and forth, out and back.
Mm-hmm.
I said, but the two main things that we want to see, I think, because I think the waterfalls and the rapids, I think they'll blow Ollie's mind. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're not too far in, and I think he
Right.
can handle it. But I said,
Mm-hmm.
the stroller's not going to work. She's like, no big deal. He can walk and then carry, which she did. But man, he had a great time. It was nice. It was really really nice. And then there was the big water rafts coming down, so they had like teams of people. There's a place around where you can obviously pay to do it, so we
Sure.
got to see some of that, the people coming down the rapids and stuff. Then, the funny part, Ollie was so good, but he's 2.5 years old,
Uh-huh.
not fully coordinated. So
Uh-huh.
Kimmy's like
Right.
Kimmy's like, I stumble all over the place, so I think I gave it to him. I'm like, I do too, and she's like, well, fucking thank you, you know. But he was really good. But the thing of it is, when he was done, he was fucking done.
Yep.
So but we had a great time. The only thing that made him mad was he wanted to go play in the water. And there was this one
Right.
area, we went to another trail on Sunday, where he got to play in the water a little bit, but then he got mad because we had to, walk away. There's other people coming up, kind of like their turn type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Kimmy said to me, which, it made me feel good. I never thought about it, but she's like, I am so happy that you like doing things like this now. She said, this is nice to be able to get out here and do this with you.
Mm-hmm.
That made me feel good, because I mean,
Yeah.
I get out there and I do this shit, by myself and whatever. That's the first time I've never been on. Well, years ago I'd go on a walk or something with Dawn or,
Mm-hmm.
somebody else I was hanging with, but nothing like this.
Right.
Um, but it was just it turned out to be inadvertently just one more thing that I can do with my daughter and my granddaughter. And she's like, Brian didn't know you were doing all this stuff. So, the stuff I can do with them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, knowing my limitations, but Kimmy's like, just so you know, he's a slow walker. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm a slow walker. I take my time
Mhm.
out here, you know.
Cool.
But it was really nice. But yeah,
Good.
just it was nice hanging out with the kids, and then they were there here for the afternoon, and headed back on Sunday. But it was just it was nice. It was a lot of fun.
Good.
So so real quick, just back to the dating app things. I wrote something else down that just kind of reminded me of as we were talking, or as I wrote down the thing about your anniversary. Now,
Hmm.
I mean, I know it's been clearly a long time since you've been on dating apps, but
Hmm.
do you ever remember in people's descriptions saying that either they're educated or looking for somebody that's educated? Do you remember any of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So I see I don't see well I don't know it feels like I see it a lot. Every time I see it bothers me a little bit, um, because it seems, and I don't know, I want to ask your opinion on this, but I'll tell you
Mhm.
my thoughts, but I want to have your opinion. So somebody walks up and like, I'm educated, it's like on a dating app, fine, I don't care where it is, but or I don't want to hang out with somebody unless they're educated. So
Mm.
to
Uh-huh.
so to you, I don't know. You tell me your opinion about that. I'll tell you mine. But what is your
Uh,
opinion on something like that?
my opinion is anybody that says they're educated or they're smart, pretty much realize that they're not, um, that they're pretty much morons. Yeah, I'm educated. Are you? Good for you. So yeah. So fucking what? Guess what? I've lived a life. I
Right.
know I'm not. I know a hell of a lot more than you do. You're educated. Go blow it out your ass.
Now, if the thing of it is that I know what people are trying to say, okay,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's
Yeah,
pretentious,
so do I.
but I think it's fucking pretentious,
Of
and
course it is.
just because somebody went to a 4 year or even on top of that or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case may be,
Mm-hmm.
so you went through a bunch of school,
Yeah.
fine, okay,
Yeah.
so
So
you have a
you owe a bunch of money.
you owe a bunch of money and you know how to take a test,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm.
hey, congratulations.
Right.
But I look at something like that and it just, I'm like, really? I want to try to match with those people just to be like, okay, I don't know, start having a conversation. I've had people, I've never, I never shy away from the fact that I went to 1 year of college
Mm.
and I drank my way through it. That's all I did.
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
got a 2.1 first semester and a
Mm-hmm.
2.3 the second semester.
All
And
right.
I think it's a fucking miracle that I even got my grades were even that good. Okay.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with my intelligence because I did plenty in high school. I did really well. I was
Mm.
probably a B plus student. I was never straight A's because I didn't want to work hard enough. Kathy was,
Mm-hmm.
but the first D I got was when I was a senior because I didn't give a fuck.
Right.
But all that stuff, I can do the work. I don't like to. You know,
Right. Oh yeah.
I can do the schooling. I don't like to do that. But I know some things. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily the smartest when it comes to book stuff. So you, for instance, okay, and
Mm.
I know you've done a lot of your truck driver stuff and things like that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember. Did you go to any like formalized schooling outside of high school?
Dude, I dropped out of high school.
Okay.
It was 4 weeks before graduation, but yeah, I was done. I had a couple bucks in the bank from my dad insurance thing, and yeah, I was done. And mom was like done with me, and I was done with her, and yeah, I dropped out. I ended up getting my high school diploma when I was around 30 or so. When I was in a Salvation Army rehab, and they offered high school, so I took a couple classes and got my diploma. So I am actually a high school graduate, not a GED, an
Right.
actual diploma. But I was 30 years old when I did it. No, I dropped out, and I never went to any. Now, fuck that. I had a guitar, and I was doing my thing. Fuck all that. I moved to Hollywood.
Right.
If you look on my Facebook, under education, I have the high school I went to, and then I have Hollywood, California, studied sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and I
you know,
did.
and the thing of it is, now that you mentioned the high school thing, I'm sure that you've said that before. I forgot, but um,
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know. I just didn't know if you did or not. But the thing of it is, you're one of the as far as if nothing, you know a lot of shit. because there's times that you do. I don't care if
Yeah.
you want to. I don't care if you want to agree to it or not. You do.
I know a couple things. Yeah.
Because we'll be having conversations. All of a sudden, you know the technical word, you know the medical term, some fucking dude, and when it happened, I'm like, cool. I don't.
Right.
But then there's a lot of things I do know. I can,
Sure.
there's things that I can do. There's things I can't do. But the thing of it is just my whole point with that is just that, okay, people I don't want to hang around with. I don't like pretentious people.
Right.
I don't like
Well,
people who tell me how smart they think they are.
absolutely. Well, yeah. I mean, every time in my life, any person's ever looked at me in the eye and said, "I'm highly intelligent," they're fucking morons to a person. Every one of them. So
Right.
there you go. You hear someone say, "I'm highly intelligent," they're not. And
Right.
I've never ever uttered that phrase. I won't. I got a half a brain in my head, and I know I do, but I will never. I'm highly intelligent. Nope.
Right. That's why I just said, some shit,
Yeah, I
you
do.
know some shit.
I know a
And
couple things.
yeah, and that's the same thing too. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm sure as fuck not the dumbest guy in the room
Right.
either. But I know I've said this before, and I'm mediocre in just about everything in my life. And I'm fine with that. I was mediocre in sports. Well, I'm not mediocre in relationships. I failed the majority of those. Take that off the table. But everything else, I can do. I can do a lot of things
Yeah.
fairly well.
Right.
There's not really one thing that I can say, this is my deal, man. This is where I shine. I don't know, probably the thing that I've done, the number one thing that I've done to that whatever time it is right now that I've done perfectly. Well, I have done it perfectly. That I haven't failed yet is, sobriety. And
Right.
it's not that I haven't failed at life or had failures. I just haven't. All it means is I haven't gone out and become an active alcoholic again. That's it.
Right.
But I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking again that you may have had the same mindset, but yeah, I just read this stuff with this fucking educated stuff, and when people say, "Well, I do this and I'm educated," I'm whatever. I'm like, "Fuck you,"
Okay, doctor.
Yeah. Okay. And there's okay. Somebody went to medical school. They know some shit. Somebody who can I can take apart. I can't take apart a car.
Right. Well, I mean,
Right.
somebody who went to medical school. Somebody was at the bottom of their class. They made
Right,
it
yeah.
through, but they
Yeah,
were the
that's true.
worst at it. Yes.
Gosh, there's another good point. So I was just gonna say, I can't take apart a car, but I can fix some shit. But when people can fix a body and take a brain out, the heart out, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool,
Yeah.
But anyhow, I don't know. It bothers me, but kind of along the same. I was wondering if you kind of had the same opinion, but you do, so that's cool. So anyhow, any of you educated people out there, you're probably not. You're probably not listening to this anyhow because you
I
think
would hope now. Right.
because
Yes,
you think
you're-
we're uneducated. So fuck you if you happen to hear this. But yeah, that would just kind of crack me up. Okay. Oh, before I forget, the number of fucks from the last episode. So from episode
Yes.
127, I'll have you guess the number of, because I did the Word document when I was doing the transcript. Search for the word fuck, and it came up with a number. Guess.
I'm trying to think last week. Were we particularly fucky? I'm gonna go 83.
Oh my God. You can literally double it.
All right, we were particularly fucky last week.
Yeah, plus a little bit, 172.
Wow.
I know, but the thing of it is, and then I was kind of as it highlighted some of the things. There was some of the things where I don't remember we were talking about where we said like "fuck" 3 times in a row or something, or like you just said, we were kind of fucky or not fucky. We just said it like 6 times in the last 2 sentences,
Right.
And I think that's just where it. Once again, here's the only thing that I think is really funny is that first of all, I don't think about it. As I'm saying it, I don't say it on
Right.
purpose. Like I need to
Sure.
slip the F word in here to make it for what I just don't do that. I know you don't either, but
Right.
it never feels forced. It doesn't feel like a lot. And when it comes out to me, this is I think our record because we were the 160s the last time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is our record. So good for us.
Yeah. Huzzah.
Huzzah! We are not highly educated, and we say the word fuck a lot.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so this is just these are all like sideline things I wrote down this week.
All right.
Have you listened to the new Mark Maron episode with Wolfgang Van Halen.
No, I saw that he was a guest. That was Monday, wasn't it? I didn't even see he was on today. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it had to have been. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Nope. I hadn't listened to it yet.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not going to give anything away at the episode, but my main question there was that obviously that you listen, whatever. And if you had, I mean, there's things to talk about, nothing big, but do you? What's your opinion of him? Did you ever have an opinion of him or no?
I'm not super familiar with him. He's Eddie Van Halen's kid.
Right.
Right. His mom is Bert and Smelly. Um, yeah, I mean, I've heard a few things. I've never, paid that much attention. Seems like he's a pretty decent guitar player. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Right, in the funny thing, and I was just going to say that as I was talking about, but you already said it. He's obviously Eddie Van Halen's kid, but you know what? I don't. I knew who he was, and I know
Mm-hmm.
about his band is called Mammoth. I mean, I know
Right.
those things just because I've heard around, seen it and heard
Sure.
about it, the radio and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually going to start after because it was a behind the music thing that's on. It's on Paramount or Peacock or whatever. I watched that too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's on Paramount. But so I watched that because Mark was talking about it with him. So I'm like, oh, that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched that and listened to the episode. So I got to learn a little bit more. The funny part, or I guess the fun part, we talked about it, I think, on here. I mean, I was a huge Van Halen fan. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I loved Eddie Van Halen and saw him twice. The Hagar version, not the
Right.
David Lee Roth version, but probably more of a fan of Eddie Van Halen than the band, and both. But anyhow,
Mm-hmm.
so they did a little bit of back and forth, and when Eddie got sick and this and that. But I completely forgot that Eddie Van Halen, had his. I mean, I think I knew they had troubles with drugs and alcohol, but I forgot that he
Mm-hmm.
was sober for the most part, as Wolfgang said towards the end. But I
Mm-hmm.
forgot that he went back and forth with trying to get sober. I
Oh
don't think I
yeah.
knew that.
No, I knew that. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I don't think I remember that. But
Yeah. He struggled, and yeah, I guess. Yeah, I think I did know that he was, pretty clean towards the end. Um,
yeah,
but I don't know. Yeah, I again don't know if he actually. I clearly he was around the program at some point. Because if you're trying to get sober, it's one of the ways people do it. I don't know that he was ever an active, like super active member of AA though.
yeah. In the quite honestly, and I mean that won't ruin anything. Nothing was brought up about that, but I mean he did his
Mm-hmm.
rehabs and he did his interventions and all those
Right.
sort of things. All that shit
Sure.
happened. But
Right.
yeah, I just said the only thing that Wolfgang said towards the end, it's like I forget if it was the behind the music or if it was the Mark Maron's episode that where he said kind of for the most part or almost completely or fairly whatever it was. Sound like
Mm-hmm.
he might have been involved in something, but
Sure.
sober for the most part, sober.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was interesting. The only thing that kind of blew my mind, which is talked about in the behind the music, but also the Mark Maron thing, is that I never realized that apparently there was a Wolfgang's had a ton of fucking haters out there. You
Oh
know,
yeah, I'm sure.
which again, I never paid, like you said, I never paid that much attention to
Uh
them,
huh.
and I forgot that they recorded actually an album. I knew we played in the
Mm-hmm.
band, I knew they went
Right.
on a tour, but
Right.
I forgot they made original music. I was off, at that point. I wasn't into
Sure.
that part of Van Halen or the Gary Sharon part of Van Halen. That was a fucking joke, but
Mm-hmm.
so I wasn't really into it at that point. But yeah, just people. I mean, apparently on social media and Twitter and
Oh,
all
I'm
that
sure.
stuff. Oh, and they were showing some of the clips on the behind the music. I was just kind of laughing. I'm like, really? People like saying that, like calling them a nepo baby and whatever, and saying the
Mm-hmm.
only reason you're in Van Halen is because of your dad. And in my mind, I'm like, well,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Right. Like
there's
dad and your uncle.
right. Yeah, and I mean, who a band of any stature like they were is not going to pick up a 15-year-old kid and bring him into the band unless they
Mm-hmm.
know him.
Right.
But but I mean, yeah, they, the only last thing on that, he did or does, I think it sounds like he still does his music. He tours with a band, but he
Mm-hmm.
records his own music like Dave Grohl did on the first
Right.
Foo Fighters album,
Yeah.
which I didn't know. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, I don't know. I figured I was going to dip into start listening to some of that Mammoth music just to see what's what. You know, they had
Right.
clips and stuff, and I mean, it doesn't sound terrible.
Right.
But he was on the Taylor Hawkins tribute. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
They played Hopper Teacher, and he fucking ripped it up
Mm-hmm.
there. So they talked about that. It was to me, it was a good episode. The behind the music was too, but I don't know. You and I I know clearly have never talked about fucking Wolfgang Van Halen. So,
And now we have.
yeah, but you'll see in there. I think it was that might have been the behind the music, but how they got his name and stuff like that. It was interesting. But either
Well,
way, it
yeah,
was.
I know. He got his name. He was
Oh,
named after
really?
Mozart.
Yeah, but they were
Yeah.
watching. Yeah, they were watching the TV show or the movie or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
the movie Amadeus.
Yeah, there you go. And she just Valerie Bertinelli just loved the way that the lady kept calling for Wolfie, 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 and that's
Right.
what they nicknamed him, and that became his. Well, she was pregnant with him, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
we got his name. I'm like, well, that's kind of fun, but
Mm-hmm.
so anyhow, I don't know. It was just fun. It was funny. So
Cool.
all right, so on to another musician, a drunken musician. How about this? Actually surprised you didn't bring this up
All
since
right.
since you're a baseball fan, and I forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
But they were talking about it on the podcast, and I remembered the story. So it was for the All Star game weekend, I think
Ah.
for the home run derby. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Now I don't know her name, and I don't even give a fuck what her name is, but you know what I'm
Uh,
talking about. The
yeah.
country
Yeah.
singer that was
Yeah.
drunk. Okay.
Yeah. That's saying the national anthem. Right.
Yeah, and one of the people on the podcast said her last name looks like address or something like that. So whatever the drunk country singer chick was
Mm-hmm.
at that. So the funny thing is, oh, actually, you know what? I saved it. Where did I save the article? I'll get to it if I feel like pulling it up. But the article I pulled up. So the thing of it is all said and done. I mean, clearly,
Mm-hmm.
she was getting ripped up about how she sang because she was
Right.
terrible,
Mm-hmm.
which all that stuff. And it was after it was all said and done. She's like, hey, I was drunk and this
Mm-hmm.
and that and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But then said, I'm gonna, basically go fix myself. I'm gonna go into
Uh-huh.
rehab.
Uh-huh.
And then, basically it said something along the line. She's like, I think I'm going to go into rehab because I've heard it's super fun.
Right. Yes, I did read that quote. Fucking idiot.
I know. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? It's like super fun. Here we go.
Yes. Right.
So, all right. So let's go back. When you went into detox I mean, I'm just wondering if
it was
anywhere
super fun.
the Keating Center, when you first got dropped off, because you were there in a cab, right? When you
Yeah.
first, they fucking tossed you out and you had two black eyes and, looked like death warm over. Was it super fun when you first walked in?
It was super fun.
Oh, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Because here's the thing. And here's my first thought on that. I mean, clearly she's, fucking idiot, but, not because if she truly has a problem, and that's what they were talking about on the one podcast. If she has an issue, good for her. Even though she's fucking stupid, that they didn't say
Right.
that. I read this article afterwards. So she's
Uh-huh.
stupid, delusional, whatever the case is. But if she truly has a problem and she's going to get help, good for her. I'll leave
Right.
that
Of course.
part. Let's stick at that, okay? But
Of course.
the other thing that was kind of, I don't want to say rumored, but question was, okay, so celebrity, make a fool out of yourself publicly. Sometimes that seems like the thing to do, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's management. That's management. And yes, going, okay, you're going into rehab now. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's
Right.
lawyers and managers and agents and yeah, fuck all that. No, of course. Of course.
Right.
It's yeah. Right. You've seen the memes, right? David Lee Roth flying across the stage and with her picture of her with the quote, "I was drunk, so that's why I couldn't perform." And then David Lee Roth, or Keith Richards with the bottle of Jack Daniels on his amp and two pours next to it. Right, yeah, right. Can't perform. Jesus Christ, I was on stage. I was on drugs and drunk, and I played just fine.
Right.
What you have to do is rehearse drunk.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if you're gonna, it's like we're having on your the right outfit. I mean, or a football player. You got to get into pads every once in a while to know how it feels when you're running around. So
absolutely,
same thing. Slip into your drunk outfit if that's what that's how you're gonna play.
Yep.
But But so that's exactly what I was thinking was, yeah, that's a good point because I mean, movie stars and all that shit and actors and actresses and
Mm-hmm.
musicians for years have done that. It just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they could, if nothing else, I mean, like you said, lawyers, managers, agents, all that shit.
Right.
Worst case scenario, going in there and they're getting a fucking spin dry,
Yeah.
and
Right.
getting themselves cleaned up so they can, put a face on themselves again and not lose everything.
Yeah. Solving back problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing that they brought up in the one podcast I was listening to, they're like, same thing as we were just talking about. That seems to be, it's a celebrity thing, right? It's easy enough to
Sure.
say that, hey, I fucked up, I'm going to do this, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, they're going to get help. So
Mm-hmm.
think about this, Mike. Okay, and I'm just going to say this is you. I don't care what day it is, but so you're working where you're working at your
Mm-hmm.
company. Driving a
Right.
truck,
Mm-hmm.
and you're out working, and let's not even say you kill anyone. I want to go
Mm.
extreme, right?
All right.
I won't even go as far as to say that you crashed that 18 wheeler. You don't
Mm-hmm.
no incidents like that, but you go to pull into a parking lot. Somehow you end up pulling the trailer in and backing it in, whatever the fuck it is you do. And
Mm-hmm.
you do it well without fucking anything up. But you
Mm-hmm.
get out of your truck and you fall on your face. Okay, you
Right.
face plant,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody comes over to pick you up and they smell you and whatever. So that's how they find out. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, I'm okay. I'm just gonna go into rehab now.
Right.
Do you think that's going to fix everything? Is that the band-aid that everyone's looking for? You good? I just don't know that everyday people like you and I can do that.
No. No. Clearly not. No, again, it's and people do it. Drunks do it. Hell, I've done it. Yeah, you go in again. Back problems, man. The boss is on my back. The wife is on the back. The family's on your back. I'm going to go into rehab, and that's going to fix everything. Well, it will if you go in there and you actually do the work. It's
Right,
just, and we've seen it time and time again. Yeah, I'm going into rehab to get you off my fucking back, not to
right.
get sober, not to be a better person, not to stop hurting my family. It's again, the selfish shit, man. Yeah, no, rehab is a wonderful thing. If you use it for what it's supposed to be, which is what we did. We went in there and we started doing the work to make ourselves better people. You can go into rehab. Anybody can fucking go into rehab. It doesn't do anything. I went into rehabs and didn't do shit and went out and got fucked up again. Didn't change a goddamn thing. Um, yeah, it's again, like we talked about, yes, famous people, they're trying to fix their back problems, and society goes, oh, isn't that marvelous? But we
Right,
look at it and we go, okay, asshole, now what are you gonna fucking do?
right,
Because
right,
walking in the door of a rehab is not going to change anything.
right.
It's
Yeah,
not.
and again, I mean, I hope everyone listening knows that we're not taking away from that. If she goes in there and does the work, I mean, more fucking power to her. But
Right.
I think that we've seen this too many times, and we
Mm-hmm.
realize, I'm not saying we're the only ones in the world that realize this shit, but
Right. Of
it's
course
just
not.
like you said, back problems. But
Uh-huh.
and I don't know. I mean, maybe the reason that I agreed, to go into detox and stuff like that, somewhere deep in my mind. Well, I know when I got to the Keating Center, I was just like, I'll just fucking kick back. I could kick back here for a month or two. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean that was my mindset. So maybe somehow I had that in my head, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it just I don't know if you have any, like you said, you've told me before that clearly I had some sort of willingness in there, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that now. I didn't know that then.
Sure.
Because I mean, I didn't have to stay. You didn't have to stay. Fucking none of us
No.
did.
No.
But for I mean, even if nothing else, if it was just out of desperation that I had no place to go and I just stuck around long enough,
Mm-hmm.
again, which I did, but then there had to be somewhere in there that little spark of willingness, and then things start to get a little bit better, and you realize, and you're like, wow, this is kind of fucking cool.
Right.
And it really is because it's like the people that I thought would turn their backs on me, like I talked about my son's mom, Dawn. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was fucked, but she didn't turn her back on me. She didn't take my son away from me. She didn't try to block any of that shit.
Right.
Mom, I didn't know how the fuck mom was going to look at me
Mm-hmm.
after having to deal with dad or my dad all those years.
Sure.
Um, I mean, even let Uncle John and Aunt Gail, and I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how these people are going to fucking look at me. I don't know.
Right.
But again, it's you're right. If you're going to do the work of this, if Drunk Country Chick is going to do the work, then
Mm-hmm.
fine.
Yep.
More power to her. Okay,
Right.
so kind of one last question on that point. And I know we've talked about like missing the mark. And that's what she did. I mean, she missed the mark,
Mm.
or the short she, like you said, she didn't practice drunk.
Yeah, I heard it. It was fucking awful. Um, that's if you've got any kind of talent, you can fucking sing the goddamn national anthem. No matter how loaded you are,
Right.
you're not going to do what the fuck she did. I don't know what the fuck that was, but it clearly was a display of her lack of talent,
Right. Yeah. And
drunk or not.
well, in the funny part, so two things. I didn't care enough about this to even write down her name. I literally in my note is drunk country singer chick.
Yep.
And at one point I'm like, God, I should probably listen to that. I'm like, I'll take a look at it. I never even heard it. I heard
Mm.
about it. I heard plenty of
Mm-hmm.
stories because they talked about it,
Right.
um, but I don't know. So let's even take away that lack of talent. I get that, and that makes a good point. But do you have like even one specific time while you were drunk that like a big moment when when you missed the mark? You know what I
Um,
mean? Like drank too much and it came out glaring that you were and you fucked something up, or I don't know.
I mean, I I sort of recall. No, I don't recall actually. I was playing drums with some guys. We were called Three Bad Men. Um, yeah. And I blacked out on stage. And but hey, guess what? I finished the fucking set. I don't
Did you
remember
really?
any of it. Oh yeah. Right. I mean, there's the famous thing Keith Moon in San Francisco where he had taken a bunch of tranquilizers or muscle relaxers or something and actually keeled over on the drums. And then some guy from the audience gets up and finishes the set with the Who. Um, right, but I didn't. I made it through, but I was blacked out. I came to the next day and went, "What happened? Did I finish?" And they went, "Yeah, you finished. You did all right." I said, "All right, cool." Off on my on to the next Mike adventure.
Yeah, and that's I mean that we laugh at that. That's funny. It's kind of scary a
Mm-hmm.
little bit to be able to, but again, you had talent. So I guess you
Yeah,
just proved the point we were trying to make with
yeah.
that part. But you know what? I mean, the only time that I really know for sure that I mean my dad's funeral. I mean, I completely
Mm-hmm.
missed the fucking mark on that when it was clear,
Right.
that I was drunk. I mean that was bad. It could have been worse, but
Mm-hmm.
that was not good. But there was plenty of other times when and I think well, I don't even think I know I've told you on here that I used to walk downstairs when Dawn and I were together, and I would make notes of what we fought about, so I would remember because I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were both drinking. I mean, clearly, I'm not putting any of this on her, but I'm saying that
Right.
we get in a fight about something,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if I thought at the time that she did or said something wrong that I could bring
Mm-hmm.
up and get
Sure.
back at her the next day,
Mm-hmm.
I'd walk downstairs. Dawn said this. We were fighting about no shit. Took fucking notes. So I
Nice.
would I would remember it's ridiculous. But yeah, plenty of times like that when I blacked out. Even back to college, when I blacked out at that bar and ended up in my bunk in the morning or my bunk bed and had no fucking idea how I got there. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, thankfully I've never again the funeral thing was probably the most public thing I ever did. When I was clearly drunk and stuff like that. But
Right.
yeah, I've never gotten up and fucked up a national anthem. Not that anyone was ever asked me to sing it, but
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. Just fucked up, just completely fucked up. But hey, more power to her. I hope you get sober there, drunk chick,
Right. Drunk
drunk,
hillbilly chick with no talent.
drunk country chick. All right, so I don't even. This is not even kind of along the same lines, but sort of whatever. Whatever. When you first got sober, did you ever go through that time frame? And I know we've talked about this a little bit, but either the time frame when you thought, "Why can't I drink like everyone else?" Or did you ever have those thoughts?
Um. Hmm. I mean, I never wanted to drink like everyone else.
See,
I wanted to
that's a good
drink like
point.
me.
I that's once again, I didn't expect that answer, but that's good. That's a good fucking point.
Yeah, no. I, sure, of course, it crossed my mind. Why can't I drink normally? Why can't I drink? It's in the fucking big book. We all
Right,
think that. We all want to be able to drink like a normal person, but we can't.
right.
And I mean, yes, I was joking, but no, I wasn't joking. I didn't want to fucking drink like everybody else. I don't want to. I don't want to be like Chris. I don't want to have half glass of wine. And go, ooh, I'm starting to feel it, and put it down. I don't. I don't want that. I still don't want that. Jesus Christ, I don't want that.
Right.
Um, I want to drink until I get drunk, and then I want to drink some more. Well, so yes, of course it's crossed my mind. Of course I've thought about it, but nah, it's I, I want to drink with impunity. I want to drink without consequences, of
Right.
course. But again, I acceptance. I know I can't. So, yeah, not really an
Yeah.
issue anymore.
And you know what? I don't. I'm sure that I had because you mentioned it before when we were talking about. I think in the reading about, mourning the loss and all those sort of things, which is a completely
Mm-hmm.
normal reaction when because people liken it to a relationship going
Oh,
bad. Because
absolutely.
we had a loving
Yes,
relationship
we did.
with a fucking whore, meaning our
Mm-hmm.
booze,
Mm-hmm.
or drugs for years, and
Yeah.
that we kept coming back for more, and all we got was kicked in the fucking balls every time,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't. I realized after the fact that I never drank normally, never just had one, never sat down and just had a couple of drinks at dinner, or
Mm-hmm.
the after dinner whatever people have, fucking cigar and brandy, and the thing
Mm-hmm.
after that, or people retiring, quote unquote, to the study for
A
a
nightcap.
yeah, a glass of scotch, which is like a little, just, I mean, I look at the people when they pour those things, and
Yeah.
I almost want to just keep the bottle fucking going. I mean, just what is that? I
Right.
mean, it's not even what, half an inch, maybe an inch of
Yeah.
booze in
Right.
there.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
Splash the ice.
I'm like, what is, I don't, to this day, I don't understand that. I don't,
No, me neither.
but I mean, that's part of the reason that we are who
Yeah.
we are.
Exactly.
But, yeah, because the other question that comes up, with people is that, if you could consume, and let's even take away the fact that we get it, all the potential health benefits or health problems that just alcohol could cause,
Mm-hmm.
but if you could drink alcohol these days and not be quote unquote addicted to it, I mean, at this
Mm-hmm.
point, I don't get the point. I wouldn't
Right.
I wouldn't understand drinking that, if it didn't do anything for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
just I don't get the point.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, that's because our brains don't work that way. I mean, there are
Right.
people, right? There are, right, a nice bourbon with, with a good cigar and blah blah blah, and mixing the flavors and la 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 la. Fine. I mean, people do that. People enjoy it. I don't fucking understand any of it, but they do.
Right. Yeah, it just I don't know. I don't know. I just don't I just don't I didn't know, and I don't know if we ever talked about that, about having that thought pattern of a wishing. I don't remember sitting back and wishing I could drink like everyone else. Maybe I know at the time, of course, probably wishing that I wasn't in the jackpot or the circumstance that I was in.
Hmm.
That's a whole different story, though.
Right.
That's like nothing to do with any of that stuff. But yeah, so okay. Well, I guess in looking at the time, and it's a fucking Thursday. What do you think? I've got something else on here that I've been holding on to for a couple of weeks. It'll be a fun thing, but we don't need to bring it up now. I keep forgetting about it, so I'll just
Okay.
tease that. Everyone out there, I've got something fun coming up at some point.
Mm.
Just like I started up, this could be a fucking great episode. You guys got
Right.
to keep listening because I lied. This wasn't the episode. I was just kind of keep you guys drawn in, and it's going to be some other time. We're going to have a good episode.
Uh, no, you didn't lie. This is fucking fantastic. What are you talking about?
Fucking spectacular.
That's right. Where's our fucking major award for this thing?
Yeah, man. Award winning. We can just say it's award winning. It
We
doesn't.
can.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone else
It's a
says shit
major
on.
award for
Well,
G
we are.
Day.
We're ranked number 3 on a website.
Well, there you go. We're a top 10 podcast in the goddamn world.
Yes, I'll tell you what. In that again, that's FeedSpot is the name of the website. We've gone when we first I think appeared on there, quote unquote. We were like in the mid-20s or something like that. We've been this is the highest we've ever been at number 3. We've been at like 6, 7,
I've
8
been
for
higher.
a while. on their list. And I don't understand it. It's just like any other fucking list. They're a big, there's a lot of podcasts that I know on there that were somehow ranked higher. I don't know how.
Because we're better.
We're better. Yes. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Hey, man, statistics don't lie.
Yeah, we're fucking awesome. Somewhere on the internet, somebody likes us, so we're fucking awesome.
There you go. It's all that matters.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think, what do you say? Your turn? We're done.
That's right. Well, thank you for listening to another award-winning episode of Sober Not Mature. It's always be kind to each other, be good to each other, go out there and do something nice for somebody else this week, and don't tell anybody you did it. Now it is that time, kids. I know it's that time. It's time. It's time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off till you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate and dream the impossible dream and keep fucking off forever.
And just so you know, again, everyone knows I mute, but man, I was giggling when you're like, thank you for listening to another award-winning episode.
I knew it.
Yeah, it's that same thing, that fucking visionary one. That's what I always come back to. Hi, visionaries. Hi, visionary. I'm like, oh, you fucking people. Welcome to another award-winning episode. We're award-winning now. Did you know that? I'm like, shoot me. Fucking shoot me. All right, I'm not going to end on a bad note. All right, everyone. Happy whatever fucking day it is that you're listening to this.
Hey, welcome to August.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
I think we'll talk soon.
We shall.
Bye.
Bye. And now it is time for you to fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over that gate, dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.